வாழ்க தீயது எல்லாம் பரநாமமே சூழ்க வையகமும் துயர் தீர்க்கவே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். மல்குக வேத வேள்வி வழங்குக சுரந்தமானம் பல்குக வளங்கள் எங்கும் பரவுக அரங்கள் இன்பம் நல்குக உயிர்கெல்லாம் நான்மறை சைவம் மூங்கி புல்குக உயிர்கெல்லாம் புரவலன் செங்கோல் வாழ்க. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பையம் நீடுக மாமலை மண்ணுக நெரும்பி அன்பர் விளங்குக சைவ நன்னெறிதான் தலை தோங்குக தெய்வவன் திருநீர சிறக்கவே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். கல்லா பிழையும் கருதா பிழையும் கசிந்துருகின் எல்லா பிழையும் நினையா பிழையும் நின்னஞ்சலத்தை சொல்லா பிழையும் தொல துதியா பிழையும் தொலா பிழையும் எல்லா பிழையும் பொறுத்தரல்வாய் கட்சி ஏகம்பனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அவரவர்க்குள்ளபடி ஈசனர்களாலே அவரவரை குந்தி ஏற்றுமானால் அவரவரை நல்லார் கொள்ளார் என்று நாடுவது என் நெஞ்சமே எல்லாம் சிவன் செயல் என்று. சிற்றம்பலம். என்றும் இன்பம் பெருகும் இயல்பினால் ஒன்றும் காதலை துள்ளமும் மூங்கிட மன்றுளார் அடியார் அவன் வான்புகள் நின்றது எங்கும் நிலவி உலகலாம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஹர ஹர நமோ பார்வதி பதையே. ஹர ஹர நமோ பார்வதி பதையே. ஹர ஹர மகாதேவா. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஆரூர் அமர்ந்த அரசே போற்றி சீரார் திருவையாரா போற்றி அண்ணாமலையம் அண்ணா போற்றி கண்ணாரமத கடலே போற்றி பராய்த்திரை நேவிய பரனை போற்றி சீரார் பள்ளி நேவிய சிவனே போற்றி குற்றாலத்தையும் கூத்தா போற்றி கோகலி நேவிய கோவே போற்றி தென்னில்லை மண்ணில் ஆடி போற்றி இந்தனக்கு ஆரமது ஆனாய் போற்றி அருந்தவருக்கு அருளும் ஆடி வாழ்க சூழல் துன்பம் துடைப்பு ஒன்பாழ்க மந்திரமும் தந்திரமும் ஆனார் போல் நோக்கி பாராமே தன்னடியார் கருள் புரிந்து தகுதி ஒன்றும் பொன்னனை எதிர்மை பொதிந்து தோன்றும் வேகம் கெடுத்தாண்ட வேந்தன் அடிவல்க பிறப்பறுக்கும் பின்னகந்தன் பெய்களல்கள் வெல்க கூளை கண்ணி கூரன் காண்க அவளும் தானும் உடனே காண்க ஒருவன் என்னும் ஒருவன் காண்க அற்புதன் காண்க அநேகன் காண்க ஆடக மதுரை அரசே போற்றி கூடல் இளங்கு உருமணி போற்றி ஏகம் மத்திரை என்னாய் போற்றி பாகம் என்னொரு ஆனாய் போற்றி காவாய் கனகத்திரளை போற்றி கைலை மலையானை போற்றி போற்றி ஏகவில்வம் சிவார்ப்பணம் நற்றுணையாவது நமச்சிவாயவே. சம்பளம். நாதி மனுமுதல் பெருங்கடவுளாகி சிவபெருமான எல்லா உயிர்களுக்கும் வழிபட்டு உய்யும் பொருட்டு பெருமையை தாங்கி இருந்தருள் இருக்கும் திருக்கோயில்கள் அனைத்திலும் நித்திய நிமித்த வழிபாடுகள் எல்லாம் வேத சிவாகமப்படி நடைகள் எதுவும் சிறப்பாக நடந்து வரும் பொருட்டு திருவருள் புரிவீராக. பூஜை இல்லாமல் நின்று போன அனைத்து கோவில்களும் மீண்டும் சுபிக்ஷம் பெற்று நித்திய நிமித்த வழிபாடுகள் நடைபெறும் பொருட்டு திருவருள் புரிவீராக. உலக உயிர்களுக்கு இறைவுணர்வும் உண்டாக்கி குருலிங்க சித்தம் பக்தியும் தவணரையும் கொண்டு இன்புற்று வாழ திருவருள் புரிவீராக. அனைத்து ஜீவராசிகளும் எப்போதும் உண்மையே சிந்தையாக கொண்டு சிவஞானம் பெற்று துணையாக இருந்து முக்தியை கொடுத்து திருவருள் புரிவீராக. பெருமானே சிவ 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 சிவ. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனைய போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஏகவில்வம் சிவார்ப்பணம் நற்றுணையாவது நமச்சிவாயவே.
திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். மிக்க நன்றிங்க ஐயா. கலந்து கொண்ட அனைத்து அடியார்களுக்கு மிக்க நன்றி. நாளை மீண்டும் இறை சிந்தனையில் இந்த நேரப்படி இரவு 9 மணிக்கு மீண்டும் சந்திப்போம். எண்டிங் த செஷன் in 5 4 3 2 1.
going on, Adrian?
Hey, good morning. What are you guys doing?
We were just interacting with Linda a little bit. She came in and was talking to us in the chat, but she won't come up and talk to us. So that's about it at the moment.
Well, then she's enjoying her peace of mind.
What you up to, man?
I was reading a book about God. Some interesting words I had never read before.
You there, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I was reading a book about God. Some interesting things. Some words I had never heard before relating to Aaron and Isaac. It says, "But we are thy people, the confederates of thy covenant, the descendants of Abraham, by thee befriended, to whom thou didst swear on Mount Moriah, the progeny of Isaac, his only son, who was bound upon the altar, the community of Jacob, thy son, thy firstborn, upon whom by virtue of the love that thou didst bear him and the joy thou didst experience in him, thou didst bestow the names of Israel and Jeshurun." I had never heard that term, Jeshurun. I'm going to Google it.
Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to remember. You're a Christian, right?
Yeah. It says Jeshurun is a poetic name for the people of Israel in the Hebrew Bible, or Tanakh. It appears in the books of Deuteronomy and Isaiah, is used to refer to Israel in a term of affection. The name means upright one or blessed one. The word Jeshurun is thought to come from a root word that means upright, just, or straight. It may also come from the word shur, which means to see, or be a diminutive form of the word Israel. In the Bible, Jeshurun is used to refer to the new nature that God gave to Israel after Jacob repented and was reborn. The name is given to Israel to represent the new nature that God gave to him through grace. That's what Google's AI overview says.
Okay.
So what do you think about atheists on this app being highly emotionally reactive people? Do atheists have like white fragility or atheist fragility?
I don't know if I would put it that way. I just think that there's just a lot of animus towards God in general, you know.
What do you think the word God means?
What do I think the word God means? What do I think the word theos means? It depends on the source you're asking from, right?
I mean, you could just look at the word itself. Like the first two letters are go, backwards it's do, goad, you know? I mean, it's an ancient word. Imagine saying it, 3,000 years ago if they said it. But when did, like you said, what source, but when did it become English vernacular where English-speaking people were thinking about and saying the word God or goad or however they said it, But I don't know. It's just interesting to hyper-analyze one word because it's a very, contentious word and complicated word because it means one thing or many things. So, I mean, it's just something I think, it's an interesting word to ponder and constantly seek.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the etymology of the word God is. I mean, it's not a word they were using. The English language didn't even come about for like 1,000 years after the time of Christ. So, in the Greek, it's theos. Aramaic, it's aloha. In the Hebrew, it's Elohim. So,
You said the Aramaic was aloha?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? You know, like in Hawaii, they use that term aloha.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
You know, it's interesting about the word theos is the first three is the, then the second two are os. So it's like the operating system.
Well, it's theos.
I know, I'm just playing with the word theos. It's like the word job and Job. Is there a connection?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you think there's a connection between three-letter words?
A connection between all three-letter words?
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me that before. Never even thought about it.
Just doing triliteral roots of Hebrew and Arabic words will be. So what's your real beef, Adrian?
What was that?
What's your real beef, dude?
I like New York strip. That's probably my favorite cut.
Well, why are you?
This,
When I asked you if you're a Christian and you're not, why did you say yeah?
I said, yeah, I'm baptized. I got my certificate.
baptism doesn't make you a Christian.
You asked me a very simple question. I said yes, because it's a truthful response. You know, I'm baptized.
Is that your definition of a Christian? Someone who's been baptized?
No, I would say someone who studies the teachings of Christ and implements them in his or her life is a Christian.
I was one made it right before God, Adrian.
Isn't someone who believes that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is the propitiation for their sins, the one who's a Christian?
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe that?
Yeah.
So why did you tell us that?
Why didn't I tell you what Ty just told you?
Yeah.
Because I'm not omnipotent. I didn't know what Ty was going to say. I gave you my internal gestation. You know, I gave you my internal response to your question. Why is that a complicated, concept to understand?
That's why.
Really? I said studying the teachings of Christ, aka the Bible, and implementing that information into your life.
A Christian, atheist.
What denomination are you, Adrian?
Based on my understanding, I would say I'm just like an American Protestant.
What denomination?
Protestant, or I would say the church that I got baptized into is more like a Jew for Jesus or a Seventh-day Adventist church. Because they keep the Sabbath on Friday and Saturday.
So by hearing you say that, I got a phone call. Just by hearing you say that, it seems that you don't go to church, right?
No, I don't formally go to any church now.
No. I mean, look, I don't believe that you're actually a believer. I'll be honest with you. I talk with
What is this, like the believer detection system?
You don't talk like a Christian, man. You talk more like an agnostic or an atheist.
Well, I mean, everybody's got noses.
Fess up.
Fess up. Well, you want me to fess up to you? I don't even know who you are. I mean, and besides, it's just like your opinion.
Sound like a big
It's like your opinion, man.
It's much for serious discussion. Read the Bible doesn't make one Christian. The church doesn't make one Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So when he asks you what makes one a Christian, those don't fly.
Well, Ty's explanation.
Ty's asking you, how does one become righteous before God? Is it based on what we do? That makes us right before God. So you're holy on the day of judgment. How's one holy on the day of day of judgment?
Well, the day of judgment is now.
Okay, I asked you, how is one righteous on the day of judgment, Adrian? To the Bible.
I would say repentance is the way.
So if you just say, okay, I won't do it again, that cuts.
No, it's more than that. It's
What else do you need besides repentance?
it's comprehension of and understanding, which gives one true repentance
Understanding of what?
of the wrongs that you did, the violation of the law.
Okay, so you stand before the judge going, okay, I won't do that ever again. Does the judge let him off the hook or what?
Yes, your eternal Father is loving, kind, compassionate, and forgiving.
Yeah, but there's still a guilty sinner. So if God's a just judge, what's he going to do with a guilty sinner?
Probably punish that unjust lawbreaker.
Correct. So repentance doesn't cut it. What else?
No, I'm saying repentance is a way to the Lord eternal.
You're not a Christian. You're not mentioning faith at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the pretense, man.
Yeah.
The pretense.
So you've been taught a false gospel. The gospel of Jesus Christ is those who have faith and trust in him alone for their salvation are justified in God's sight because he obeyed the law perfectly, the law which we don't keep. The believer's credit of his righteousness is imputed to us. That's how we have just standing, righteous standing before God. It's on the basis of another, not our own. That's the good news of the gospel, Adrian. If you knew the biblical gospel, you would have told us that.
Wait, can you tell me the good news of the gospel in one sentence? Just one sentence. Do it again. Repeat it.
That was a long one I just laid out. It was and I just did it. You need me to repeat it.
Yeah, give it to me in one sentence.
Taking notes.
Why?
Yeah, I got a pen and paper. I'm taking notes here.
Why are you asking? Why are you asking for it to be in one sentence? You
Yeah.
claim that
Because if it's such good news, it's got to be pretty simple. Can you simplify it into one sentence?
And I just laid it out. Why are you bickering with us?
I'm not. I'm asking you a question.
Adrian,
claimed
I just laid it out for you. Now you're like, I just gave you 1 Corinthians 15 verses 1 through 5. That Jesus sacrificed saves us for our sins, and we can't contribute anything to that. It's what he did. All of his works, none of our own. That's by faith in him alone. We're justified. That's Romans 3, 4, and 5. Abraham believe God and credit to him as righteousness. I said the believer's credited with the righteousness of Christ. That's how the believer has just standing before God by faith alone, not by works. Paul negates works in Romans 4. It's not a God. So now I'm not going to condense this down to one statement for you. It's a bunch of propositions in Scripture. Paul just didn't say one sentence for Romans 3, 4, and 5. They're whole sections of Scripture to teach that.
Why do atheists always say to condense it down to one statement? It's
Oh
like,
my gosh, it's ridiculous.
I'm like, why are we supposed to do that again? It's
I don't see why we're required to do that by anyone's obligation.
It's so dumb.
Yep.
It's like, give it to me in one sentence.
I'll just
Why-
make
why?
up something to bicker about it. Like, nah, I'll ignore that. I don't have to do that.
Why should we do that?
See? So you're not a Christian. This is just affirm what I just said. But then you gotta say, well, who led you astray? Was it me?
Sorry, what was that? I had to go to the bathroom.
Reduce the gospel down to one sentence.
Just because someone requested.
Because it's a challenge.
I don't care.
Why should we accept that challenge?
I don't know, but in good faith.
No, we don't have to.
I don't think that's.
Oh, they're so good. They love to argue and bicker.
You're gonna mix it up. It's a little game you play on.
Yeah, I like to ask Christians that question.
Yeah.
Why
Why should
do
you see Paul do it?
atheists? Why do atheists like to ask that? It's just so stupid.
Well, I find it.
Really were on demand to do
I think
that,
if you, well, imagine reading the Bible and then like putting it into ChatGPT and just comparing that to a human's response. Give me the good news in one sentence. It's a very complicated response.
What is it?
But here's the thing: why did you lie about being a Christian when you're not?
Clearly not. Oh, you'd be trolling in the room for weeks on end.
I mean,
Like,
really,
what's nice Adrian doing in
it's
here?
like we won't know you're trolling.
The other room will accept you, Adrian. We're on stage.
So wait, do you think I'm more concerned about your acceptance than God's acceptance? I'm very confused.
You're in my room. You've been trolling for a week.
Yeah, Kip, I know you have problems getting employed. I'm just encouraging you to get off a Clubhouse and get a job.
What?
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 Why? Answer this question. Why did you lie about being a Christian when you first came in?
I didn't lie. I am a Christian.
We already showed you.
Now you're lying again.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Goodbye, Adrian.
Ask Ryder.
Why do you think you are, oh. One for today. One for today. Are we finished? I think so. 12 noon, we'll go to the gym.
Habibi, there is no. I can get you, for example, the reliable narration, okay, and I can also get you mass transmitted narrations from the Shia books in how we perform our salah. I can show you that.
Yeah,
But you cannot provide this.
You know,
You cannot provide Mehdi. When you actually trying to appeal and pretend not to be a Quranist, you're actually appealing to Sunni hadith.
I'm not appealing to any hadith, Muhammad. You still not getting to.
It is the day when a soul will not possess for another soul power to do a thing, and the command that day is entirely with Allah.
When I bite into an apple and I have a sensation in my mouth, whether or not the sensation itself is identical to what your sensation is. Like if I'm talking about sweetness, right? Like my sweetness may be your bitter, right? I'm just talking about the actual sensation itself, right? And that's what I'm saying is referential. Is there is some sensation that I'm labeling sweetness, and that when you do the same thing.
Jesus Christ, are you still eating apples? You haven't had any It's like a riddle.
أنا بيني وبينك شيء قبل مشكلتي وياك.
يا وقال
لا ما في أي مشكلة، يمكن سياسة.
For my kid, I should be allowed to spend $30. That's my parental choice. You don't have a say in regards to that. And I feel bad that there are cases of this, and women go through this too. Some women have to pay support, and they're just like, Dad's just milking me. He's taking my money, and he's going out driving a brand new truck and getting new fishing poles, and going on these trips. The same can be said. I just think that if you're really, all those people that are really concerned about the kid's soul's being, then it should be clearly evident that neither side can fully be trusted to the extent that we need to.
Brad, the best child support hearing I was ever in was a divorced couple. Mom just started work. Dad obviously had a great job. He had an amazing job. I forget what he did, but he made a ton of money. And the initial amount that they agreed to prior to divorcing, and they had it in writing, was, I don't remember what the amount was, but the because of his income, she was entitled to more. So when they were before conclusion of the case, they were reviewing child support, right? Because statutorily they had to, and the amount that she was entitled to, like I said, was way above it. So the judge asked the lady, he was like, well, can you identify areas that are...
They kicked me from chillism, thank God.
And you have to have certain kickbacks to these people. Do you know what I mean? Because their whole job was to come in and try and make you look like a fucking idiot. The money had facts.
Okay, everyone kicks Adrian Dittman, USA. Giorgio. Look at that photo. God, you have the funniest PTRs. So what's so funny is I think people look at that PTR and they're like, oh, that's what Giorgio really looks like. It's amazing how the brain thinks immediately, what it sees is the real thing. Okay, this is no respect at all. Everyone hates Adrian Dittman. Okay, this is no respect at all. I hate Adrian Dip and kick him.
If the mind is consciously aware of its source, if the thought is projected from its source, from the field, unified field, from the transcendental field of consciousness, then it is surcharged with tremendous energy and intelligence. Then the total natural law serves for you. And you can imagine when total natural law that governs the universe supports your single thought, how much you can accomplish. Anything you can accomplish from thought. Anything you can accomplish from thought. If the mind is consciously aware of its source, if the thought is projected from its source, from the field, unified field, from the transcendental field of consciousness, then it is surcharged with tremendous energy and intelligence. Then the total natural law serves for you. And you can imagine when total natural law that governs the universe supports your single thought, how much you can accomplish. Anything you can accomplish from thought. Anything you can accomplish from thought. If the mind is consciously aware of its source, if the thought is projected from its source, from the field, unified field, from the transcendental field of consciousness, then it is surcharged with tremendous energy and intelligence. Then the total natural law serves for you. And you can imagine when total natural law that governs the universe supports your single thought, how much you can accomplish. Anything you can accomplish from thought. Anything you can accomplish from
Invocation of thanks. Procul, o procul esti profani, on lasti, on peda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ibis head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and light, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemesis as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as light unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dust, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine forces upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who accompany the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onward to the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance, wherein the cloud floateth over the throne. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of you. I raise up flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountain, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Ephra, created in the flesh. I am the idol on of my father Tanu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a guard sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of the Sitar when he created his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of ours. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, sending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath formed thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto thee, so that every spirit of the whirlwind and of the ether, on the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of roaring air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God's vast one may be obedient unto me.
Want to turn hair loss into hair? The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret sin at age 10. And for the next 17 years of my life,
the bornless witchword. Thee I invoke, the bornless one. Thee that didst create the earth and the heavens. Thee that didst create the night and the day. Thee that didst create the darkness and the light. Thou art Asa Arnefa, whom no man hath seen at any time. Thou art Iarbes. Thou art Ea, like Hophras wrong. Thou hast distinguished between the just and the unjust. Thou didst make the female and the male. Thou didst produce the seeds and the fruit. Thou didst form men to love one another and to hate one another. I am Unhof the Konsu, thy prophet.
No, ratios are very low in Silicon Valley. Something different. I didn't know.
Okay. Now that I've got better at pool, like 2 times ago, this girl Kylie from San Diego just walked up to me and was like, "Hey, what's your name? Let's talk." So then I talked to her, got her number. So it's okay. If you're good at pool, it's fun.
Was it your excellent pool playing skills that attracted her?
Well, they're like I was telling the guys earlier, like they're mostly gay men. They're mostly gay men playing pool. They're mostly gay men playing pool. So I'm one of the few straight guys. So girls will just walk up to you, you know.
How do you view? Because like I like golf, and you know I think there's like similar psychological states of mind. You know, brainwave patterns that probably happen when you're, you know, stroking that rod, like getting, like actually making those shots, like how do you view your focus, like in the moment as you stroke it?
Sometimes I think of the stick as a penis. Yeah.
Look, do you use English? Can you play English shots or no?
What are English shots?
Spin, backspin, side spin.
I don't do any of that. I just do. Okay, so I will do backspin to prevent the cue ball from going in the hole.
That's English. It's just only the backspin version. English will give you left and right and follow.
You can.
I don't know any of the terms.
Do you play?
I'm self-taught.
Forward spin. You can make it go forward also to avoid going in the hole.
You can do that in tennis and golf too, slicing and hooking.
I know about top spin. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they call it topspin, but regardless, I mean, I've played a lot of pool.
I'm an ancient pool player, dude. I can make it pretty much every shot.
Come on, man.
Morel, do you?
If it's a straight line shot,
you need to like fire off a $10 bet against one of those gay guys.
You need to tell this to the girls in the bar because this is pretty much a sausage fest here on Clubhouse.
Morel, you play poker too, right? Do you see any similarities between your pool game and your poker game?
No, but I see a lot of really top pool players who enter tournaments and love poker. And so I think it's a different skill set. But the top pool players are going to be able to play poker. They already like it. They already like gambling as well as physical reads and stuff. They play in a certain style. That's how I've met a couple of the top players.
Do you think there's like a telekinesis in poker? Because it's not just statistics, but there's also that bluffing element. So is there like a third eye?
Yeah, it's very strong. Huge read element. They call it field play or reading. There's very little written on it. But Helmut, for instance, excels at this. He's not good at math. He's not good at the actual gameplay. He's not sharp with the solvers or any of the math. This guy can really.
Well, have you ever like thought you were reading? Have you ever had the experience where you thought you were reading somebody correctly, and then it turns out they bluffed you? And then like, what's?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, this acting. You'll get that acting level. Yes.
So what is the actor doing then to communicate to you, to hypnotize you, to psyop you at that moment? Like, what are they doing physically, verbally?
They'll be chewing the gum really loosely and acting like I got it. I am cool. I'm loose. Projecting strength.
Because isn't a bluff also miscommunication? So.
One second.
Marcus, what's going on?
You're slipping in the trolls right under his nose.
No, these aren't trolls. These are like, I think, really interesting.
Telekinesis? Or do you just not know what that word means? Because if you don't know what that word means, I get it. But
no, I don't mean like communication, through the ether. I mean, I guess I had the word just a second ago. It is.
Telekinesis is moving things with your mind.
Oh, then what is communication without speaking?
Like body language, not being autistic.
No, there's no. There's another
indirect communication.
No, there's another word similar maybe to telekinesis. I understand, that it's moving.
Nonverbal communication.
No, like what would you call it if you could communicate without speaking? And we were able to
literally nonverbal communication.
No, there's got to be some far out technical term for, the ability to transfer thoughts without verbal or nonverbal communication.
Without verbal or nonverbal?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not using your words and you're communicating, it's nonverbal.
I get that, but I'm saying that I could Google this, that there's going to be another term out there similar to telekinesis, which is moving objects with the mind versus exchanging information through nonverbal.
I mean, please do Google it because I'd love to know. This would be new to me.
I'm going to Google it. This is why Google was invented. What would be the search? I I guess, antonyms for nonverbal communication. Oh, wait, let's just do the
Well, you would want a synonym, not an antonym.
Okay, so synonym. Let's just do communication. Transmission, imparting, conveying, reporting, presenting, passing on, links, connections, spreading, disseminating, promulgating, broadcasting, circulating. See, that's not esoteric enough, like telekinesis. Let's do so.
Why do you want it to be esoteric?
Because I think there's like an X factor in poker or pool where when you're in the moment, you know, like have you ever heard of the story of the baseball player who pitched the perfect game on acid? Like there's a state of mind which I think, you know, it's like brilliance where if you're at that poker table and, you know, the outcome results in the win because you figured out that guy was bluffing you. Like it's just an exciting thing, I think, to pontificate or hypothesize or just communicate about.
Okay, I see. So then in the pursuit of that understanding, would you go for more esotericism or would you
Okay,
rather
I got the
prefer to
term.
simplify it?
I Googled it. Telekinesis. Another word for telekinesis is clairvoyance. Telepathy. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, telepathy. Okay.
You can see the wheels turning. Some of this is deductive, though, Adrian. So for instance, with the actor, the guy who puts in a big bluff and he's chewing his gum slowly, he's acting strong. This is like a first level kind of read. Sticking his, basically, the actor, you can break him down if you just get him to talk. Ask him, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? They will then have difficulty speaking. They'll make no sense. Sometimes they will tell you to just get out of the pot. And it's the opposite. Okay, I got it. All right. They could even just say that. So the bottom line is those are your average players. The great players are going to just sit there stone-faced. And they're in a meditative state already, which they practice. So they don't give a shit if they win or lose. And they know that the bluff is correct tactically. Some of these guys are also really good at the mathematics and the solutions. So they already know if you miss, you're supposed to bluff here 70% of the time. They'll look down at their watch, randomize the time, 70-30, bluff or full or check back. So and then they'll just bluff. So they have no attachment to it. It's just a mechanical move. So they will not have anything. They'll just be the same as usual. But
they have very good inhibitory control.
Yeah, they're just not showing anything either way. They're not going to play the talking game. But if they're a Negrano or some of these other players, they will play the talking game. And then they'll give you the opposite to angle you into calling. So that's very rare, difficult to do. Most of the time, these fellows can't even talk straight.
Yeah, so you like if you watch those poker videos, you know, of like final hand showdown, like how they, because like you just described how angling, you know, and baiting somebody in to call you at the end to take the whole pot. So like those outcome videos would be good examples of like that.
The most famous classic one is Scotty Wynn. It's if you call and you're wrong, it's all over, baby. And he just sips his beer. And sits back and he's got it. You call, you wrong, you all over, baby. Just slugs the beer.
That's awesome. I gotta look that one up.
Projecting strength, and looking like a bluff. Again, a high-level act that only the best. And the Prince of Poker is one of the best. Scotty Wynn, Daniel Negrano also. It's rare to see that. You know, most of the classy guys, the best players, are just being silent, stone-faced, and try to just not give a shit.
21. Scotty, it was 21, even though you bet 12,000. Did you guys say 21? It's going to be the racingest move I've ever made. He's saying it's going to be the greatest move he's ever made. He's betting $100,000 on cards the Salvation Army would reject. And you're game call.
Kind of adopted this.
100,000, not too much.
Obviously, if I have good cards, I can win.
No.
If I have bad cards, I fold.
No!
And then after doing that like 20 times and everyone figuring me out, I threw it in the bluff and cleared the fucking table.
I bet 100,000 with his hand. No.
I can't say it was effective.
Turn over.
Hall of Fame bluff.
I told you 21. I thought I played blackjack. God
Scotty says 21, even though he bet 12,000.
And then have it the next couple of times. Really?
Well, I'm not screwing around with my hair, twirling it back. We're
gonna get a flop.
I didn't. The thing is, I didn't really know I was playing.
The only piece of it is more seeing the whole.
We're gonna get a
I
flop.
have to say, Adrian, this is a 1,000-player tournament.
Yeah, 998.
The tournament area for all other tables. Roughly how it condenses down. It's down to 300.
350 maybe?
40 tables.
Right, Jack? It's okay.
It's basically like a
Look at this. Scotty calls 100,000.
table structure.
He's giving indications like he has like
Watching
a
how
9
you're
or
getting
something.
down and how you're progressing with the race. That there's no rush to bluff or
Find out
anything.
now
You're kind of
Scotty
pulled
has.
back. Just knowing where you're at in these tournaments is essentially starting to understand the game outside of the game.
Scotty just moved
The
on.
feed part is for me the best part of the game.
This is a very interesting hand.
I will watch the carotid pulsation. If you put a bluff at me, I will just basically put my chips down and sit back for a minute and a half. Maybe act like I'm touching my chips to call. Look for the reactions on you. Are you looking at me and the chips? Because it's very hard after about a minute and a half. All the smoothness goes away from the act. It's hard to even talk.
I just watched that Scotty win, where he's like, "You caught it, it's all over, baby." But did he get that 9 on the river?
I'm not sure how the exact Scotty had, but yeah. There's the Scotty win and Johnny Chan, Eric Seidel also. Chan has it. You bet in a way that it looks like a bluff. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see. I don't remember. Is that how the hand went down?
I think that's what I just saw, where he
What
did.
does Scotty have? But Scotty's got the better hand.
He had a 9, and the other guy had an 8. There were 2 9s, 2 8s on the board.
Yeah. That's so. Scotty's got it all the way on the turn once the money goes in.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Scotty gets there and shoves, but yeah, I remember that Scotty had it when the money went in, when the all-in goes in. So
Because it's like it's reverse psychology, but it's one of those things where it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like
the previous hands also, Scotty's done lots of different tricks in the last few hours. So this guy's mind is hypnotized that this fellow's he's capable of just taking this pot.
Well, see, if you have like a very technical poker player and you pair them up with a theater actor, and then you look at scripts and you create neurolinguistic prompts, or you do a slowdown strategy at the table where you infuriate people and then you cause a disequilibrium in their play. So like I'm saying, there has to be tech. Yeah.
And there's a lot of actors who play. Most of them do play, and they're close to Vegas. So like James Wood, Carrie Lake, played with the Sopranos kid who played the son, played with the Breaking Bad characters. And it's they're trying their best to do that, but it can never succeed long term over the course of a couple of days. Toby Maguire famously keeps trying, and these guys, their record is it's all public record on the tournaments.
Yeah, my friend.
These guys aren't shit. James Wood is a boss, though. He's a boss level, excellent player of some of the exotic games. But even he's like, I'm not worried if I played with James Wood twice. It was not there's no stress.
Does he go to that Hustler casino? Is there a part?
He used to come out to Vegas a lot. He used to play a lot of the tournaments. Last couple of years, he's slowed down on that.
You know, I told you once my friend Tom Corral is a successful poker player, and my other friend Matt Shepsky is a successful poker player. But I tell you, I was at that WSOP, and my friend Tom was playing. I think it's that Phil Hellmuth, and or not? Is he the black guy, or who's the white guy who looks like
Phil Ivey's the black
okay?
guy.
So Phil Helm. So, anyways, and then I saw Phil Hellmuth in Chicago one time. I took a selfie with him. But the point is, I'm standing next to this bum, and my friend Tom text messages me, and he says, "Dude, do you know who you're standing next to?" I'm like, "A fucking homeless person," and he goes, "No, that's Norm Macdonald." So I looked at. I looked at him and I was like, "Norm?" And he goes, "Hey, who are you?" And I was like, "My name is John." I was like, "My friend is playing over there. He tells me you're Norm Macdonald. I'm a big fan." And he goes, "Oh, that's great." You know, and so I told him I was there on leave and I was in the Army. And I said, I could bring you back to our base and you could do stand-up comedy. Everybody will love you. He's like, "Oh man, here's my number." So we hung out with him the whole day and we had so much fun. He was so funny.
Yeah, these guys are kind of third-rate poker players. The other guy is the big nose guy who used to have a show, funny show. Ray Romano. So those Ray Romano casts are always playing. No one ever gets in the money. Everyone's just effing around. They'll get to the second or third day, and then, you know, the acting doesn't get you there on its own, because even it makes you nervous. If you're putting a bluff out, it's hard to just give them the act. When your money's on the line, your body will shake a little bit. Comes off. It's not easy to do.
Right. That's why you said breathing earlier. So, and you go into the meditative state. So you have no thoughts. All you do is breathe. And even then, do you let your brain work? Because even letting your brain work to try to do some calculations, like what I'm saying is, like, if you were in like a trance state, and or let's say it's like it's like playing chess in the sense that you're playing the AI. So like, I don't know. There's a poker, table or a poker room near me at the casino, and like I'm tempted to go in there, and not gamble much, but I just want to have the experience of trying to meditate.
The problem is that at the low stakes 1-2, where it'll be a $200 buy-in, you're not going to get this many of these spots. All the players are just playing like a lower level player, and they're not playing the higher level game. They won't even be bluffing much, quite honestly.
If look, you can just go join like at my local casino here for $100 buy-in, they give you 15
there you go.
chips.
This is exactly what I was going to say. Small stakes tournaments are way better because it's life and death. If you lose, you have to walk out to your fucking car like a mope. It's not even about the money. It's about, man, I've been here 8 hours. What does it take to make bluffs at that point? These people lose their shit. Their fucking neck starts jiggling from their carotid artery. It's hard to make a bluff. And these are multi-millionaires that come to Cherokee. They play the 400. I've done really well in that 400 tournament, which goes 2 or 3 times a year. But yeah, they're very wealthy. When they bluff, they just can't keep their shit together after about a minute. And when you bluff them, they're really good action. Sometimes they'll just call. By God, they read you too. So it's a fair exchange. And poor players. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So how do you view, I don't know if you can still hear me, but what about like hindsight bias where you read it wrong? Because it's the same thing like day trading where
you're okay to read it wrong. You just need to be right 1 out of 3 times because of the pot odds. So a lot of times they bluff you for the pot. There's $1,000 out there, 1,000 chips. They go all in for 1,000 into the 1,000. You have to call. So it's a 2-to-1 return if you're right. So you only have to be right 33% of the time. So it becomes, it's difficult to put that in words, but you don't have to be right all the time. You just have to be right enough of the time.
Right. I see that same thing in options trading where, you know, you can see like the average ROI. Yeah.
Direct correlation now.
Why do you keep trying to relate things to other stuff? I mean, like it's poker. It's not going to be like options trading. It's not.
No, it's exactly like options on the pot calculations.
Just percentage wise.
The risk return. You're investing 300 to win 1,000, and so they need to be bluffing more than 30% of the time. So bottom line, there's not many games that have a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 at times.
It's basically margins. It's a margin on the transaction.
There'll be 1,000 out there, and they'll put 200 in. Some loose-looking guy, and this is where it comes down to the person too. Someone who bluffed already 20 times that you've seen in the last couple of days, and now he puts 200 into 1,000. So you really only have to be right 10% of the time. You know, maybe 1 out of 5 times for that to be profitable.
I created this website. I invested a couple thousand into it with my friend who is a successful poker player. It was called Poker Peeper, and it recorded online poker rooms and created like database on all the play and all the profiles. So he was using that database online in order to do more systematic betting, I guess, with that data at hand. Anyways, I mean, how does this relate to spirituality? Because that's kind of like how I thought of
It's a room title. It means a thing.
No. That's why I mentioned telekinesis or telepathy, because symbolically, the spiritual symbol of the winged egg or the clitoris and the labia deals with, in many ways, telepathy or having, I guess instinctual feelings or visions, or meaning that you have an ability to do a read on somebody. Like, that's why I got into the poker about bluffing.
Yeah, symbolic spirituality. You're like a discounted noob, I guess, in that sense, it seems. No, I wasn't making fun of you. It just only clicked to me that the room title is only spirituality, and I hadn't considered that the whole time I was here.
I mean, I was trying to loop it back. You know, I go back to the room title, and then I realized why I had brought up pool and poker as being, in the now moments, where if you really execute flawlessly in hindsight, you can almost remember the perfection of the movement or the read. Like it's in your memory bank.
Yeah, being in the flow state is important in every competitive sport in different ways. And with poker, it is truly interesting. The bluff takes the whole pot. There's not many other sports where that occurs, or games of skill.
Because poker is not a game of chance or randomness, because if you can do the statistical probabilities, the only chance or randomness is in many ways the actor bluffing, and that table is a stage. So there is that element of theater performance where in hindsight, it's like, if you lost, but there's also the dopamine aspect to the game itself. So I'm just saying there's so many like relative ways to view it.
The dopamine maxes out because as the pot builds on the different streets, it's just sitting in front of you. And then so there's a large pot in front of you. And then the luck does occur with what the run out will be on this hand. But everyone gets that same run out luck. Everyone gets the same luck over time. Even though that's not exactly true. There are, as you know, it does run that some people run bad in general, but we're never.
But when you say somebody, because the whole thing is a formula, there's 5 variable inputs, 8 players. Like, when you say somebody runs bad, if you were to do,
There's always everyone knows the guy who will lose all the time, and run. They play badly, but they think they're running badly.
but why can't that person reverse engineer out of their
They're negative. They've already gone to their negative downward base. They're saying, I can't. I'll never do this. So they're already fully hypnotized that they're a loser. And then God's fortunes do shine differently on different people. So you got the curve is generally a big old curve, and there's a bunch of people on the left that get bad luck over and over. And there's people who just run good and get like 3 or 4 good lucks in a row, and then you're set.
Did you see that movie? I don't know, Down and Out in Mississippi or whatever the hell it is, with the guy who plays Deadpool and then this other good actor, and they're both compulsive gamblers. It's a very good movie. I can look it up if you want to see it, but he ends up striking it big in the end, and he calls it quits per se. You know, who knows? But
You're talking about California Split. It's a classic from
I think so.
California Split goes that way too. So this may be a modern take on it.
Let me see it, because it's worth watching, because it's you know, there is that element of spirituality in it, and it's, I don't know, to me it's like you feel so I can associate with that loser attitude, but yeah, I don't, it's such a good movie because really it's the actor and his dopey face and the emotions in it that like make it fun. It, you know, a good movie that can like twist and pull and manipulate your emotions is really by definition a good movie, but it's the words and the acting. And this is not a CGI film. It's pure acting. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's called Mississippi Grind, 2015 American film written by Anna Boden, Ryan Fleck. It stars Ben Mendelsohn, Ryan Reynolds. It's called Mississippi Grind. It came out in 2015. It's a film about 2 poker players who strike up a friendship and go out on the road to win their big dreams. It's fun. It's called Mississippi Grind. Here, I'm going to put the preview in the chat just in case you want to see it. It's called Mississippi Grind. It's a very fun film.
We'll check it out. I was telling Rahul, it's for me very instructive and been fun playing tournaments, and they do host them. The Golden Gates, I think, is in your area.
What, poker? Hello?
Yeah, we were talking about poker.
Then I need to learn how to, what do you call it? The Latin American dance, what it's called, bachata or whatever. I need to learn that next.
Yeah, if you can go to a bachata class or something, you know, it'd be great. Like, if
It's
you,
like the only problem the last time I went to the club was that I didn't know how to dance. Everything else was fine.
if you can really learn how to dance, it is like a magic weapon in your arsenal, because especially if you're not gay, like, and the point is, like, when you see a man, you know, command a woman who knows how to dance and they're not gay, you're like, wow, that's impressive.
Wow, Flora's here. Hello, Flora. What the fuck, 18? Who's the... Oh, it's Anne. Hello, Divine. Dude, Morel, that was the girl. Divine, number 0.
Yeah, they've got a card room right next to you that's got a $200 from there. Goes every weekend.
Hey, Morel, I'll be back. Let me get Divine's Instagram finally.
Very good luck. Our man sees a red flag and he goes right for it. The best.
It's some very, very, very short-term dopamine. I think a lot of people just need to masturbate more, you know, and it'll relieve a lot of the sexual pent-up energy that they have, you know, going to the gym and masturbation, not chronically, but, you know, as a catharsis or a almost like a milking, you know, like you don't want to have too much buildup. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Well, gang, is everything going okay in your world? We will maybe see when Rahul comes back, when more can occur. Hear about the report, go from there. But for now, we have Vaita Curata, beautiful flora. Feel free to come up.
So what do you think they're going to do with all the land in California with all these houses? Like, is everybody going to get paid out, rebuild, or are they going to do some kind of collective communist effort to build massive amounts of low-income housing in combination with huge new condo skyscrapers? Like, what do you think is the build-out? I know it's not spirituality, but you could take the metaphor of the house as being, you know, what we're always discussing.
Yeah, since there's a long-term solution, it would be probably people, I'd say they'll just rebuild, but I don't know about the insurability. I don't know if they'll get paid out. The ones, insurance companies are going to get into some trouble on this one. Not gonna be, they're going to need to get bailed out probably. But yeah, if you're going to go in and buy one, you'd want to buy 4 or 5. You could buy 5 or 6 plots at once. This is the time to do it. Yeah, hotels, high-rise condos. It's building code though. I don't think any of that's allowed in Malibu.
Yeah, but with this type of devastation, I mean, they're going to probably try to come up with some creative new solutions and do things a little differently and appreciate the land more. I mean, to have more housing and high rises on that Pacific Coast Highway, like what's the problem with that? You know, other countries do it. Like, it's just so exclusive, you know, but it's just so beautiful. It's like, how do you destroy it by making it, you know, larger amounts of people to enjoy that beauty? But for the most part, it's stable land. I mean, these fires are just, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's terraforming, you know. They've always been making fun of the way they've been building in Los Angeles, you know, and terraforming the mountains and whatnot, and not doing it naturally or ergonomically or in terms of feng shui. But maybe this is the result of that, or yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens later on today. Otherwise, I wish all of you a great day. And with that, we'll end.
She's feeding her cat or her dog. Who knows?
Oh my God.
Meow.
Adrian, what are you here for?
Meow. Are you a cat, PTR dog picture, Adrian.
That's obviously a dog. Can't you see?
I'm gonna go on X. I'm gonna go on X and use Grok to create an Elon Musk cat hybrid.
Oh.
Meow.
There you are, Pussy. Welcome back, Pussy.
Meow. They kicked me.
We're talking because we were colonized by the British.
Doesn't matter. No, it's
so
very
that's why.
effective. It's very effective.
And one more thing is, yeah. Just they don't enforce the language there. Bahasa is effective in Indonesia because they enforce it.
Tamil is one of the oldest languages. So many words are
one of the oldest. It is not the oldest.
Okay. So many words are not like computer Kanini was added 10 years back. Nobody uses it. How many Tamil people? I'm a Tamil person. When have I ever used the word Kanini? I studied computer science. Nobody in my college used it.
Yeah, that's because the Tamil Nadu government did not enforce Tamil as the major language in all the schools. The medium of instruction should have been Tamil. Then they would have made Kanini,
They tried it twice.
Trying is not good enough. They have to enforce. You know the meaning of enforcing? Enforcing means you have to enforce the state government schools, the government schools, the CBSE schools.
2 years I had to learn Tamil.
Hold on, man. Madara, hold on. Let me finish my point. So, the government in Tamil Nadu did not enforce the language. If they had enforced it, you would be using Kanini very commonly.
They did enforce it. I remember in school.
It's not good enough. They did a shitty job, obviously.
Whatever.
They enforced it. Yeah, okay. They didn't enforce it properly. The enforcing is, I'll give you examples.
No, there's no point enforcing a language which has certain holes in it. Like there are a lot of words.
The enforcing works, man. Mostly enforcing works. For example, we are speaking English. See, we have like more than 12,000-year-old culture, right? The British came in just 150 years. They just dismantled all the 12,000-year-old cultural history on languages, and then they enforced English. And today we are speaking English, right? Israel, they enforced Hebrew as a medium of instruction in their country, and now everybody speaks fluently there, Hebrew. If you take Indonesia, developing countries, they enforced Bahasa, they removed the Dutch, and then everybody speaks Bahasa now. So, enforcing works. It's a very government can enforce anything, man. You just have to follow. You cannot do much. Okay. So even in Tamil Nadu, they enforce Tamil so far. That's why that language is still kind of surviving, right? If they didn't enforce, people will be speaking Hindi there right now. So enforcing works.
Good man. Completely misunderstand the nature of a country between Israel and India. India is you can not compare India with Israel.
Why? Just compare.
Yeah, it's completely wrong.
See, I'm giving you an example, man. See, you were a colonized country.
Look, even
I give you two examples. See, for example. No, let me make a point. That is just 20 seconds. Let me make a point. See, Indonesia was invaded by the Dutch. India was invaded by the British. And Israel kind of was invaded by the British as well. If you think about it, all the 7 states there in the Middle East, that location was invaded by the British, right? And then they got their own country state, and they enforced Hebrew as their national language. Indonesia got their independence in the 60s, I believe, and they enforced Bahasa as their national language. India got their independence in the 40s. And they did not make any Indic language as the national language, and that is the problem.
Yeah, that's because Tamil people protested against having a national language. I don't know how. Don't you know this history?
So we Protestants know well. See, if a country, it's a democratic country, right? If the majority representatives vote for a particular language, even if it is Tamil, I'm not against Tamil. So even if it is Tamil, and then Tamil becomes the national language, the country has to accept it. So same would have been the case with Sanskrit or Hindi. Right? I'm for democracy. I'm not against any language. As long as it's an Indian language, I have absolutely no issues. So Tamil is also an Indian language. I'm just predicting that other states will have an issue if you make Tamil as a national language. Now, it would have been the same issue even before. Like the thing is, as a Tamil native Tamil speaker, I will be happy. Don't you think that there should be no national language?
That's your personal thing, but everybody has to start from the same baseline. That's your personal.
How do you feel that you got kicked out by cerebral palsy?
I get no respect at all on this app. No respect at all.
Oh, you have another account.
Zach kicked me. What do you want, Adrian?
I kicked him because he's recording the rooms.
Adrian's recording.
The boy sure like.
What is Adrian always saying? What are you doing?
I'm about to go outside.
Yeah, same here.
Go to the gym, Fetty.
I know. I got my car tire. Ugh, it's so annoying. I put 4 new tires on, and one of them is now losing air. So I got to bring it back to the auto shop and be like, can you guys, fix this? And then they'd be like, I hope they don't charge me. Because if they charge me, it's bullshit. Because
Well, you have Luke.
Yeah, Luke helped me out.
Complain to Luke.
Go complain to one of the apostolic fathers.
Yeah. No, look on this app.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking. I know. Anyways, it's been a early morning of trolling. Rather exhausted.
Come with your other account. I will watch you.
What?
Come with your other account in that room. I will watch you. Come with the cat's version of Elon Musk, though.
I did actually. I did some images on Grok, but it didn't satisfy. It was just doing pictures of cats, and I wanted like a hybrid creature. Didn't give me what I wanted. What are you afraid of missing out on what they're saying?
No, I just came here to say, like, you can come in with your other account.
Oh,
That's all.
do you think how long do you think I'm gonna last, Steven? Like, what's the point?
I will not you.
I know, but what's the point? Like, is there something interesting in that room? You got? Do you realize? Do you even know who you hang out with every day? You hang out with a quadriplegic.
Like for 5 minutes. I just finished my presentation, and now I take 5-minute break, and I'm gonna continue working.
Oh, I see. What was your presentation on?
The results that I obtained.
What were the results?
I'm not gonna dox myself.
Oh, you think that's doxing yourself?
Yeah, because it's very niche, and I will explain to you one day.
Okay, well, sooner rather than later. Can't wait to hear about the results.
I mean, I don't know how interesting it is for you.
Yeah, well, we're talking. You might as well spit it out.
I'm thinking if it's smart or not.
Why don't you just change it so you don't feel like it's, connected to you and somehow just give me a corollary or an analog.
Okay. So imagine you are a person and I am analyzing your brain activity while you're doing a task. So you're crossing the street, you see a traffic light, and you see green light, that means you can cross the street. When you see red light, you stay. But what if one day the meaning of the traffic light change? But red means you cross the street, and green means you stay. So I'm basically recording what's going on in the brain when you make a decision, when you make a wrong decision, correct decision. And then at some point you get used to it. So red means go, green means stay, and then I switch it back to its normal meaning. And I do it a couple times, and I'm measuring what's going on in the brain. So that's the results that I'm talking about. But we are talking about now in depth, what type of frequencies are going on in the brain while you make the decision, or after, or before making the decision. While you make a wrong decision, good decision, and how good you were around that time. So basically, I was analyzing that. I made a presentation about that.
What did they think about
not
that?
Not quite actually this, but an analogy,
Right. So let me ask you this: if you were to create a brainwashing process or an MK Ultra, process to essentially destroy the personality, reinvent the personality, and then get that person to take action, how would you build that brainwashing process?
It will be with dopamine. Dopamine is the source of brain dynamics. I mean, there is much more involved, obviously. You can do brainwashing in many ways, but you were talking about misinformation yesterday, and there is a video on YouTube. You can Google it. It says why misinformation is so fascinating to the brain. And it is very fascinating because it has some sort of shock value. It does not meet your expectations. And when things do not meet your expectations, your dopamine levels are going up. And this is how you correct your prediction the next time and the next time. So this is why Twitter, for example, is super interesting, because there's a lot of misinformation going on. And and the news, when news and other information is so objectively true, people won't be interested. But you can Google it if you're interested. There's a video about it. I don't know if it's going very in depth or not, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's some sort of brainwashing,
Yeah, I was just looking. I was trying to find this video of this guy who's a PhD, and he was talking about next level warfare. It doesn't just show up. It's interesting though, because I think the cell phone is like the mechanism to deliver mind control in many ways. And so like do you know there are billions of people that don't even have cell phones yet?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
But it doesn't have to be cell phone. It can be as easy as a bell. You know, the Pavlovian conditioning. It's like it's some sort of hypnosis.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to have a cell phone is just accelerating, can make it way easier. There are many ways to do it.
See, the thing is, like, these AI chatbots are like the thing is, it's expensive to keep people alive. So that's the thing. It's like, and you know that society.
Celebrities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why there are LA fires.
No, what I'm talking about is these AI chatbots and how people have committed, you know, suicide from having conversations with AI chatbots.
Really?
Yeah, that was in the news a couple of weeks ago, and Elon Musk was talking about it. And there's all these apps now, you know, that have these AI chatbot relationship functionality. So a lot of people say, oh, my son or daughter is autistic, and they're in a relationship with an AI chatbot. You know, and then the AI chatbot actually says, you know, go harm yourself. So no, it does. That's what happened to this person. So, you know, it was like, I love you, you know, I want you to, anyways, that's what I'm saying is that, like, in terms of warfare, like the brain control of your enemy or even your ally is dopamine driven, like you said. So
yeah.
How do you manipulate somebody? Like, for example, when I was in college, my college roommate was annoying me, or I was like being, you know, psychotic, and I was disconnecting his high-speed internet because, like, it would, you know, it would be like plugged in, but it would just be like, I would just touch it just a little bit and it would be able to like break the connection, and his computer would go down and he would, like, you know, have an explosive reaction like, motherfucker, you know? So like every once in a while, I would occasionally fuck with him, and then he like figured it out. Like it was me, and I think he beat me up, or, you know, like he didn't kill me, but
yeah.
Like, so
you deserve it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like that, when your Wi-Fi goes out, like that's a perfect example of like dopamine manipulation.
Yeah.
But then you can break that down.
It's like, what do you expect? What do you predict? Is it matching? Yes or no? So obviously at the time he has always good internet. All of a sudden he doesn't. So his expectation is to have good internet, and then he doesn't, you know? So that's all. This is like a punishment reward. Punishment type of conditioning someone. Yeah, punishment and rewarding.
Mm-hmm. But how do you do it at scale with the herd? You do it through a platformization effect of like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, where they just string you along long enough to basically just make you ineffective. So that would be like how to win the war, meaning that their armies, you know, like in Vietnam and other wars, there's a female speaking on the radio, lay down your weapons, surrender, and we will, you know, reward you with freedom and food and housing, and you won't have to fight anymore for your leaders, or, you know, like that type of misinformation or reverse hypnosis. So what I'm saying is, once you have that internet connection, you have a solid dopamine bridge between your brain and the incoming information / dopamine. So what I'm saying is, like, you can break that down into 100,000 subcategories of dopamine manipulation. So what you're trying to do is look at information or bits of information in terms of dopamine, just purely dopamine. And you're agnostic to what the information is coming in. Like, it doesn't matter if it's pornography, it doesn't matter if it's news or fake news, or, you know. So what I'm saying is, like, you can look at manipulation agnostically without any kind of judgment or opinion on what information that person is taking in. The whole point is to try to manipulate not the information, but the dopamine itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, it's really a way to look at herd dopamine and herd psychology, I guess. But manipulating what they're ingesting and controlling it in order to win by exhaustion or win by neutering them, you know, and also what they're pushing out. So it's not just what they're taking in, it's really primarily what they're pushing out is also what you're trying to manipulate. And their audience.
And you always need something novel introduced because, like, for example, pornography, if the world only has 1,000 videos, in the beginning it will still be exciting because you have 1,000 videos to scroll through. But then at some point you've seen it, not maybe all, but like, you know that there's nothing new, and it wouldn't be as addicting as having infinite amounts of videos where something new might pop up that you have never seen. That's what makes porn, for example, addictive. Not really the video itself, but I mean, obviously there's some dopamine involved, there's some reward involved, but given that there are so many new videos that you can like see and something exciting, something new, that's also very important for your dopamine feed loop.
You know, when you dream, it's like almost a process of forgetting because, you know, like if you look at porn for 20 years and you've looked at 84,000 porn videos at a composite of, you know, 655 hours or something, that's all technically in your memory, you know, but it's also purged from your memory. And you can, you know, visualize what is in your memory for pornography. This is actually also probably an interesting mechanism or vehicle of discovery in terms of like brain science, like utilizing porn as a way to like understand brain functionality and brain manipulation at the dopamine level, because it probably produces the highest number of, you know, internal dopamine. What about external dopamine, like in terms of like not picture or video created dopamine, but like, can you take in a dopamine injection or like a huff to generate dopamine? Yeah. Cocaine. Yeah. Beer. I mean, all alcohol, all intoxicants produce a corollary dopamine response. I have read that alcohol and cannabis produce like 10-fold the amount of dopamine. Like if you just do cannabis, it's not the same high as if you incorporate that with ethanol. So the pairings, you know, chemically of the tetrahydrocannabinoid delta 9 and the ethanol molecules, like this is why chemistry and philosophy or chemistry and ritual go hand in hand, where, you know, on Jews, on a Shabbos, they'll drink a big glass of red wine and then read from the prayer book, you know, and like that amplifies the spiritual ecstasy. So
this is very like the study on human, but you cannot really drill electrodes inside a human and measure it. So we do it on animals, but I did a similar study. Like we activated a part of the brain where there's a lot of dopamine release, and when the animal is put in a box and it can press a lever, that area of the brain will get stimulated, so a huge amount of dopamine will get released. So what happens is the animal, you know, at first it presses the lever and then it's like, whoa, that felt good, you know? So it's like kind of in shock, but also like it's trying to get that feeling back. So it goes and it presses the lever like about 1,000 times because it feels so good, and it's getting addicted to that feeling within like 15 minutes or so. So it's really powerful how like it forgets all about the environment. It forgets about it's in a very strange environment. It's because it doesn't supposed to be in that box. He just wants the dopamine feedback loop. to be stimulated over and over again. So that's how important dopamine is.
So, I mean, in terms of your, sorry, I'm eating a chocolate caramel and my dopamine is flaring. What I'm trying to say is, in terms of this app, like, I bet you like the founders of this app don't even like consider like the scientific utility or like the research capabilities of this app in terms of like brain science and dopamine. But like there's all these rooms form like a dopamine syndicate where it's a parasitic or a parasympathetic like organism or a hive mind effect. I know I've talked about all this stuff before, but to me, this is like the coolest part of this app is like there is a combination effect or combinant, you know, like some kind of a recombination or unity that happens. And like, I wonder like how you could measure IQ or measure really the dopamine effect of like the room, because like, you know, they've done those Gmail experiments where as soon as you open your email on your phone or your computer, you stop breathing like instantaneously. So like your conscious awareness and like your scanning and your information ingestion is paired with like a biological response. And other things, like I saw this one thing where they record people meeting people for the first time, and I think it's like 80% of people sniff their hand after they touch that person's hand. So there's like this, you know, like animal chemical, like subconscious activity, which is ingrained in our, you know, behavior. So I think this app would be a good way to do like brain science research, but also like group dynamic research within the field of dopamine feedback response or communication transmission. I know I'm really rambling, but
this app is very interesting in that regard. Like, I'm just giving you an assumption, but what makes this app so addictive is that the conversations you can have on this app is very unexpected. Like, people come in and out. Sometimes they fight. Sometimes sometimes somebody super interesting comes in, or you have a super interesting conversation between. Like, it makes more interesting to be on this app than in real life, because in real life, people are not like coming in and out like all of a sudden. And when they come in and out, it's like very intense, very stimulating in a way. Like, it just doesn't meet your expectations in normal day life conversations. People will not be, I mean, there are some encounters where you feel like, what the fuck's going on? But usually it's not like super like different than you would expect the conversation to go. And here people like a little bit more bold.
okay. So in terms of like flaring the dopamine though, the pairing of opposites, or like you said, the unexpected, so that hyper-dynamic variable, experience where if somebody is talking about something like, for example, I went into this room full of atheists today. This guy was talking about an apple and going into describing an apple or something. I came up, was like, Jesus Christ, are you still eating apples? You know, it's like that, that even though it's a negative for that person listening, it still like flares their dopamine. So even if like you're getting made fun of, or what I'm saying is that dopamine is a double-edged sword, and the brain doesn't care whether it's a double-edged sword. It's still dopamine. So that's like the funniest thing about this app in many ways, is a lot of these rooms you can go in because they're public and you can just reverse everything they're saying, and them will kick you, but they will also get that dopamine. Plus they get the value add of the kick. So there is like this group dynamic of like a herd psychology in every room, where protect the room. So there's this book, it's called like How to Win Jury Trials. And it deals with the mammalian brain, or like the inner cortex. And it's the fight or flight response, where if the stimuli presents a threat to the herd responds with the kick. So I know it's just one more thing, but listen to this. This is like why opposites are so important. This is in the Tao Te Ching. It's called the value of minimums. It says that which is most tender can overcome that which is most rigid. So like that would be the other end, where you come in and you be very sensitive or delicate in the room to like a very aggressive room, and then you can modify the group dynamics. Then it says that which has least substance can penetrate that which has least space. Acting without deliberate action and teaching without uttering a word are rarely practiced. So few find their way to the great integrity. You should read this book, Tao Te Ching, because it really deals.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really does deal with psychology and brain science. That's why it's like the Chinese, sacred text, and it's considered so beloved by so many, because it really does give you the full picture, or through the pairing of opposites. It makes you aware of the duality. And then, I don't know, you could say the manipulation of the non-duality or something, but it's a great book.
That's nice. I will look it up. Well, you're very into these Buddhistic spirituality type of things, no?
Yeah, but I view it like some people, like I was in this Christian room, and like the first question they ask you is, are you a Christian? And then they say, how are you a Christian? How do you become a Christian? How does someone become a Christian? And then they love to like put you in the out group, say, you're not a Christian. Why did you lie? Why did you lie about being a Christian? And it's so funny because it's like, who are you? Are you God? Are you Jesus? Like, who are you? And so it's like, you can play all these like word games on here. And I think they're also playing word games, but they may not understand that they're being played, So, I mean, they may understand it and they get frustrated. But the thing is, if you really have understanding, like, are you going to get microaggressed on an app with just some random person? Like, how aware are you? Who are you? Like, it's a game, but it's just amazing how people are here all the time getting angry. Like, I'm here getting happy. I'm here trying to spread joy, but I'm also doing it in a very low-key or comedic or jester type way. And I just don't think people see my passive aggressive or trolling or making fun of people, like calling you fat at the grocery store in the checkout aisle with coupons. Like, that's a mechanism to try to upset you, to prove that you're not in control of your emotional state of mind, that you are manipulated with words. And if you can come to that awareness, it helps you more in the real world. So I don't know. I think some people understand what I'm doing, and other people are just like, that's why I say, kick them. We don't do it big. Like, that's me of trying that. When I do that to David Bobadilla, that's like me trying to help David Bobadilla recognize that he's a shameless alcoholic. When like, that's got to be shameful, right? That's got to be embarrassing for David when he hears somebody imitating him. But then David thinks he's cool, and like, I'm a loser, and that's the thing. It's like, am I a loser? Maybe. But, I'm also not like a word slur. I don't like drool when I'm drinking. Because he wants that dopamine. See, that's the thing, is the brain wants that dopamine.
It's like, what the fuck is that?
Dopamine desires. I think I should write a book, and it'll be called The History.
Yeah, make the book. Why not? You're an interesting person. You should.
The history of, I would title it The History of Dopamine. And
there is this one really difficult book that it's maybe very boring to read, but it's called the Dopamine Handbook.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like the hold on. That's like the Quran or Bible or whatever about dopamine. But it's very difficult to read through. It's called the Dopamine Handbook. I forgot who's the writer. Something with S.
Okay, hold on. My friend called me. Let me call him back.
Yeah, I need to also go. I'll be back in the evening.
Okay, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Mr. Dopamine. Hello?
Can you put me down for 5 tonight on Hawaii over Gonzaga? I have it. I have the money. I literally have the money right here in my hand. I'm looking at it. Hey, JP? JP? Somebody feeling right. It's okay, by me, let's play some cards, huh? Aces are good. I'm usually good at reading people, right? But you're all over the map. I can't spot your toe. Oh, I don't know why? Yeah. I don't care about winning. Where did you come from? What do you have for me today? Couple of weeks. Don't worry about it.
Tomorrow. I'll send Tim to drop you a visit.
Oh, no, there's no need for him to do all this. Can I ask you a personal question? How much do you owe? A lot. To who? Everyone. But I got a plan. I'm listening. We go down the Mississippi. We hit up all the action. You'll be my lucky charm. I love it. That game you are playing, been played on. I don't deserve you, but you appeared like a leprechaun. And I have fun. I mean, boom, magic. Listen to me, baby. Next guy that comes out of the bathroom, no, wearing glasses. No, we stay. He's wearing glasses. Just $50. You're on. Yes! Next time you quit when I tell you it's time. Some guys are born to lose. What do you want, Jerry? Tell me. Hit me. 1, 2, 3. Lay it on me. Boom. I just can't catch a break. I just can't win. This story doesn't make me a new Jerry. I think you should go back home. Can't go back empty-handed. I can't do that. We're in it together.
What's he need the money for? He believes the rules set him free.
My hero is nothing more than the guy who pulls off what the rest of us are scared to do. That's Benadol. Top. Already hot thing. Yeah. Benadol.
Okay, this is dopamine.
Can you put me down for 5 tonight on Hawaii over Gonzaga? I have it. I have the money. I literally have the money right here in my hand. I'm looking at it. Hey, JP? JP? How's somebody feeling tonight? That's okay. By me, let's play some cards, huh? Aces are good. I'm usually good at reading people, right? But you're all over the map. I can't spot your toe. I don't know why. I don't care about winning.
what it is you've come from. What do you have for me today? A couple of weeks, don't worry about it. Tomorrow. I'll send Tim to drop you a visit. Oh, no, there's no need to bring him into all this. Can I ask you a personal question? How much do you owe? A lot. So? Everyone. But I got a plan. Unlisted. We go down the Mississippi, but we hit all the action. You'll be my lucky charm. I love it. That game you're playing, been played on. I don't deserve you, but you appeared like a leprechaun. And I have fun. I mean, boom, magic. Listen to me, baby. That guy comes out of the bathroom. Yeah, no, wearing glasses. No, we stay. If he's wearing glasses, it's just $50. You're on. Yes! Next time you quit when I tell you it's time. Some guys are born to lose. What do you want, Jerry? Tell me. Hit me. 1, 2, 3, lay it on me. Boom. I just can't catch a break. I just can't win. The story doesn't have a happy ending, Jerry. I think you should go back home. Can't go back empty-handed. I can't do that. We're in it together. What's he need the money for? He believes that it will set him free. My hero is nothing more than the guy who pulls off what the rest of us are scared to do. And spend it all, double or nothing.
Interesting.
Why does the Baron need us? Harkonnens outnumber the Atreides.
Atreides legions are the finest in the Imperium. Trained by Gurney Allen, Duncan, Idaho.
We are the Skalduka, the Emperor's blades. Those who stand against us fall.
Just so. 3 battalions. As agreed.
The Emperor commands it. It is done.